In this video, we'll explore how to create an EBSR or Evidence-Based Selected Response item in SchoolCity. These are common items that you see on assessments. It's a multi-part item in which the thinking between the two parts is linked. So it usually asks, the first part asks a question for the student to answer, and the second part will ask the student to find the evidence that best supports the reasoning for their answer in the first part. So you can see how the thinking is linked between the two. Let's explore how to make one of those. There's two ways you can create an item. One is through your item bank, but I find the easiest way is just to go ahead and start your assessment and create your item from there. The advantage of opening an assessment and creating your items there is that the item is automatically added to your assessment. So once you're in your assessment and you've already given it a title, from any one of these tabs, you can find this Create button over on the right upper hand corner. Drop that down and click on Items. That will bring up a new screen where we create the item. First thing, you want to make sure your workspace is in My Workspace, unless you are building a PLC assessment, in which case you will want to save your item into your PLC workspace. You'll want to give your item a name. I usually use the title of the assessment. This assessment is called Moving Beyond, and then some other indicator, usually question number, question 1, 2, 3. In this case, I'm going to put EBSR because this will be my only EBSR item on this assessment. My subject will be ELA, and I'm just going to pick a random grade level right now. I'll say 3rd grade. Course group and course, I could skip those, but I do have to select the item type. So I'm going to choose EBSR, Evidence-Based Selected Response. You'll notice the OP after the title. That means that this item type can be created for online assessments or paper assessments. Immediately when I click EBSR, you'll notice it pops up a Part A and Part B. Here it wants us to select what kind of item we want to use for each part. I'm going to make the first one multiple choice. Oftentimes you'll see Part B be a multiple response on these kinds of items, but for this one I'll just go ahead and stick with multiple choice as well. All right, if I need to link a passage, I'm going to do that. For the sake of time, I'll go ahead and put my passage in my question because I have a pretty short passage. You'll notice it automatically populates some student instructions for you, basically just wanting the student to notice that there is a Part A and a Part B in this item. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill out my part for Part A. So let's type in my question. I'll say, please read the poem below and answer the question. And let me put in a question. How did little Miss Muffet feel at the end? And then I'm just going to grab my poem where I have it saved, and then I will paste it into my question there. All right, so I've got my question with my passage. How many answer choices do I want? Most multiple choice is going to have 4. So I'm going to type in 4 different feelings here. I'm going to say she felt scared. I'm not using frightened because it's already there. Let's see, happy, tired, and I'll pick one other emotion. All right. Now I need to go ahead and select my correct answer. So I'm going to just click on that to show that's going to be my correct answer. If I needed to add choices, I can, but continue to scroll down because here's where you're going to need to type in Part B. So on evidence-based selected response, Part B is going to be asking them to identify evidence to back up their answer. So what words and I'll say I'm going to put best in capitals. The phrases best explain your answer to Part A. I might rewrite that to say what words or phrases best show evidence that Part A is correct. That'll work for now. And let me type in some words or phrases. So I'm going to say sat on a tuffet, eating, sat down beside her, and I'll add in frightened Miss Muffet away. Okay. Select my correct answer, and I'm ready to save. Now, something you'll notice with this item type is that nowhere did it ask for total possible points. I can make this a 1-point item or a 2-point item, but there's no partial credit on an EBSR. The reason there's no partial credit is that the thinking between these is linked. If the student chooses happy, there's no way they can provide an answer to Part B that would explain why happy is correct, because happy is not the correct answer. So I can make this a 1-point item, meaning they have to get both of these right to get 1 point. If I change this to 2 points, they can do that as well, but they still have to get both parts correct in order to earn 2 points. Like, no partial credit on an EBSR. All right, I'm simply going to click Next. Here's where I can add my standards. I want to make sure I'm on the Arizona standards. I can select an appropriate standard. I'm just going to grab a random one for right now. You'll want to make sure when you make yours to actually choose a standard that's linked. I'll click Next tab. Here's where I get to my Properties tab. These properties we usually set for the entire assessment, so we don't set them for individual items. You're welcome to, but as long as you remember to set them for your whole assessment, then you're fine. We've got Bloom's taxonomy and depth of knowledge that you can add here as well if you'd like, as well as some other properties. If you want to put in the copyright and date and year, you could do those things as well. Those are not required, however. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next tab. This is my Preview and Publish tab. This allows me to look at it, check my formatting. Well, maybe I want to make this font bigger for my poem. I'm going to check to make sure that I added a standard and that I have the right grade level. So it's just a good place to review your item before you publish. When you're ready to publish, you'll go ahead and click Publish and Exit. If you just click Publish, you'll still have to exit this full screen by clicking the orange one. But I'm going to click Publish and Exit. And it's going to ask me, where do I want to publish this item? Again, it's going to be my workspace. If you have a PLC workspace as well, that will come up as an option. Use that if you are building a PLC assessment. If it's your own teacher assessment, use your own workspace. Now it's published and it's added directly to my test. I can scroll down to find the last one I just added, and boom, there it is. That looks fantastic. Another nice feature is if I want to see how this looks for a student, I can go to the Summary tab, wait for these buttons to load, and then click Online Preview. As soon as it loads, you will get a screen that shows what this looks like for students. Okay. If I had saved this as a passage, the passage would have showed up on the left side of the screen and the questions would have been on the right side of the screen. In the future, that might be a better way to set up this question. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video. In this video, we learned how to create an evidence-based selected response item.